I'm not stealing even more cool tips from other YouTubers on how to make cool videos. I like to answer questions that I get on YouTube, so let's get to it. You look like a homeless PewDiePie. I don't want to be rude, but this just came to my head and won't go. Haha, you're very talented, great video. So 2 weeks ago, I was living pretty large because for the first time ever, I got more Chris Pratt mentions than PewDiePie mentions. So I was on my high horse for a hot minute, and then the PewDiePie stuff just started flooding in. I had like 100 PewDiePie mentions in like 1 week for whatever, which again is cool. You know, that's fine. And in fact, it has supplanted the Neil Patrick Harris mentions I used to get, and PewDiePie has taken a resounding lead as far as like my #1 celebrity comparison. So I guess that's cool. What do you think of Ed Sheeran's new album? Don't know if you answered this already. I have complicated thoughts on Ed Sheeran. I kind of want to like Ed Sheeran. He's an awesome player, talented songwriter for sure. He's a creative guitar player, and like no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, I just can't bring myself to like lame pop music, no matter how it's packaged. I think the older stuff had some cool songs. I mean, you can't really be a guitar teacher without eventually like teaching kids how to play like a bunch of Ed Sheeran songs, and a lot of them are really cool to play. But the new one, I did my due diligence. I listened to the whole album. You know, there's some okay songs on it, but I can't get into it. Especially like the singles that came out first. I just think it's like such a generic pop message from those songs that's been done before. It's nothing really that interesting to me personally. Again, super talented guy. I just can't really get on the pop train, especially since you guys have hooked me up with some amazing folk metal suggestions from that folk metal video back in the day. I didn't even know pirate metal was a thing, but now I'm listening to pirate metal. So it could just be it's just too jarring for me to go from Ed Sheeran to pirate metal in like the same car trip. But that's kind of where my Apple Music playlist is right now. Sean, am I alone in my heartbreak of seeing John Mayer play Jackson's? What the F, his tone was way better with Strats, and I'm a Les Paul guy, so no Fender fanboy crap. So if you didn't know, John Mayer has always been synonymous with the sound of the Fender Stratocaster. Recently, he's actually signed with PRS, so he's not even on Fender anymore. He's on PRS, but he's also playing like this Pink Jackson every now and then, which I admit is a little disarming. But what's even more disarming to me is the price of his signature PRS gear. Again, I like PRS stuff. I think it's great. It is expensive, but the amp especially. There's like the John Mayer amp head, which is $6,000 for just a head, like a 100-watt head, that has no reverb. It's $6,000 and there's no onboard reverb. Like I do not understand at all. It just seems like a total money grab. You would think that part of like having like a signature like thing that you're selling is like to actually like get it in like the hands of some of your fans, but like with like the semi-hollow that he has out with PRS, and I think they just actually unveiled, I guess like he's playing live like a PRS like Strat copy now, which you know might be pretty cool. But it just seems like he's like outpricing like really most of his fans. I am totally not down with the amp thing, but I haven't really noticed a difference in his tone. I think his tone still sounds like fantastic. In fact, on the new album that came out, I'd be surprised to hear that that wasn't a Strat that he recorded a lot of times. But I don't know. Again, great tone. I don't necessarily agree with some of the marketing decisions that's been going on. But I mean, you know, you can't really blame him. He's just doing what he's doing. Okay, so if you look at the insane length of that comment, I already know it's going to be the Salty Blues comment of the week. In fact, one of my favorite things is when I'm scrolling through the comments and I see like an insanely large document or novella, I suppose. I always know it's going to be a Salty Blues comment. This is no exception. I think I'm actually going to kind of paraphrase this because the rest of the body is not that interesting, so I'm going to skip to the very end. Another poor video, another thumbs down. Jesus, over 78,000 people can be wrong. So first of all, it's 79,000 people as of right now and growing. And also, like, it must have taken this guy more time to write that comment than to actually watch the video. So again, the Salty Blues stuff, it just really warms my heart. And the fact that people care so much, it just inspires me to try to do bigger and better things. How do you make your practice more musical? So if you haven't noticed, the last couple weeks I have been posting more lessons that are dedicated to just making more musical practice exercises. And I don't know if I'm going to call this like a series, but I definitely think that I'm going to try to cut, like, at least upload once or twice a week where I'm just like showcasing maybe different exercises that can be used to kind of incorporate, you know, music theory, scales, arpeggios, chord voicings, and different things like that. So if you have any suggestions on maybe some things that you want kind of help, maybe just kind of visualizing different practice routines, like things that I should focus on, I'm all ears because I'm always going to be making these videos, so definitely hit me up. I've been messing around with guitars for about 2-3 years now. I started my journey with the classical guitar, then moved to acoustic, now back to classical. Never really had a chance to touch an electric guitar. So my question is this: is there any difference between electric, acoustic, or classical guitar when it comes to starting out? I think I am somewhere near the advanced level, but not sure if it's time to grab an electric guitar just yet. Is it harder than acoustics or maybe easier? Some say the hardest way to start learning guitar is to start with classical due to its different size and neck. Is it true? So I might get some flack for this, but my answer is that if it's a guitar, it's a guitar. You know, like there are obviously differences between like the neck size of a classical, the thickness of acoustic strings versus electric strings. But you know, the old adage, I suppose, is to learn on acoustic first because it'll toughen your fingers up and then it'll be easier to go to electric. I just think whatever inspires you to play, just pick it up. It's a guitar. If you can play an acoustic guitar, you can play an electric guitar and a classical guitar. You can, arrange those in any way. If you can play guitar, you can play guitar, right? The strings are generally tuned the same, 6 strings most of the time. Really, whatever you choose to learn on is just what you want to do. So find something that inspires you. If you have like a goal of what you want to do, if you want to be a great electric player, start with electric guitar. I don't see a problem with that. I think my first guitar that I actually owned was an electric, and shortly after that I got an acoustic, and there was 0 problems making that transition from one to another. When I eventually got a classical guitar with like a nylon string, again, 0 problems transitioning from one to another. Now again, like I said, there are differences between, you know, the thickness of the neck and how the strings react, and playing with the pick and your fingers and stuff like that too. But really, just pick up a guitar. If you have the urge to get something different, I fully support that, because I think a different instrument can definitely inspire you. If you feel like you're in a rut with like with an electric, maybe pick up a classical and like try to learn something there. It's a great idea. You know, if you have the means to do that, I am all for it. You can never have enough guitars, so get yourself an electric guitar and start rocking it out. So speaking of Ed Sheeran, and in the name of good fun, I don't want to leave any stone unturned when it comes to listening homework. We'll do some kind of pop-ish stuff, and I will link you to my favorite Ed Sheeran song, which is also a really cool guitar song to learn to play, so I'll throw the tab on there too. It's called I See Fire. I think it was on the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, which, what does it say about me that I think Ed Sheeran's coolest song is on the Lord of the Rings soundtrack? I don't know, whatever. But anyways, if you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comments on Instagram, Twitter, or the website, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks a lot.